Good afternoon and welcome. I'm pretty sure that I am on episode 18. I forgot to check before I jumped on, so pretty sure we're episode 18. The thumbnail will have the correct information in it. My lights might go out. I would like to say that. I mentioned yesterday that they needed to charge, and then I just didn't end up charging them. So if they go out and I just have an ugly white wall behind me that blends in with my translucent skin and my white sweater, then we will just have to deal with that. So that may or may not happen. If it does, sorry, I'll try and charge the lights for next time. I'm surprised I was able to get a fourth video in today. I'm actually kind of happy about that. Well, I'm happy about that. I didn't think that I was going to, but here we are. So we're going to be going over Biden and his odd travel plans. For some reason, he can't seem to... It's not good for his health to go attend the coronation of Prince Charles in May, but it's fine for him to go to Ukraine and Ireland. And if anything furthers his agenda, it's fine. So I don't know. I just think it's kind of odd where they're like, oh, he can't really travel abroad much right now because it affects how he runs the country. We got to make sure that he's all right. We got to make sure he's here. And then he was just in Ireland. It doesn't make sense to me. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about, Dylan Mulvaney, because the Bud Light stuff is just getting more and more fun. And then we're going to be talking about NPR quitting Twitter because Elon Musk made them cry, basically. And I may or may not get into an article about Greg Abbott and the Daniel Perry pardon, but we'll see how timing goes. If there's not time for that, maybe I'll do it another day. If there is time for that, we'll jump into it. I'll just kind of gauge the video, see how long this takes, and then I'll decide from there. If anyone wants to follow me and see what I post on places like Instagram and Twitter, you can find me at fearmeitsbre. I forgot I had Snapchat. I don't really post on that, but that's fearmeitsbre as well. Sometimes I'll just post images of fun things on there. Like, hi, I'm outside. Oh, look, the sunset. So I don't know, if you're into that kind of stuff, I have that as well, but I'm rarely on there. I just discovered today I could still log into it. So, I have that, but mainly you can find me on Instagram and Twitter. Those are the two places where I tend to hang out besides just on YouTube right here. So without further ado, we can get into, I think I'm going to go with the Dylan Mulvaney one first, just to get it out of the way. And you can like this video if you would like. You can share it. You can totally disregard what I'm saying and never watch any of my stuff again if you would like. I don't blame you with how often I bring up Dylan. So I think we're going to start off with, let's start off with a Daily Wire article that I have pulled up. We're going to hop over there and we're going to open it up. So Dylan Mulvaney claims being uncontroversial is the new goal in new interview following Bud Light partnership. I don't know, if you're a man and you're gallivanting about as a woman, pretending to be a woman and taking over women's spaces, I would not say that you're trying to be uncontroversial. I would say that you're trying to be quite the opposite, but let's see what Dylan has to say here. Trans-identifying influencer Dylan Mulvaney just did an interview with Rosie O'Donnell. Oh boy. Not one crackpot, but two. Following the controversy with Bud Light, breaking silence in the wake of ongoing boycotts after their brand partnership became public. Mulvaney claimed to be an easy target for critics because of only transitioning in the past year. The reason that I think I am an easy target is because I'm so new to this, the TikTok star told O'Donnell on Tuesday's episode of Onward. I think going after a trans woman that's been doing this for 20 years is a lot more difficult. I think maybe they think there's some sort of chance with me, but what is their goal? These people, they don't understand me, and anything I say or do then somehow gets taken out of context and is used against me and is so sad because everything I try and put out is positive, the influencer added. It is trying to connect with others that maybe don't understand me. It's to make people laugh or to make a kid feel seen. That is creepy. He is literally admitting that his target audience is children. Bud Light received intense backlash earlier this month after Mulvaney announced a brand partnership with the beer company. The brand sent Mulvaney a custom beer pack that featured the influencer's face on the cans to celebrate the first anniversary of Mulvaney's transition. Mulvaney has also partnered with multiple other brands, including Olay, KitchenAid, that's one I forgot, KitchenAid, Kate Spade, that rhymed, Tampax, and recently Nike's women's athletic wear. So there's been a lot of women that are burning my Nike sports bras because it's really weird when a biological male is the, not the target audience The target audience is women. The advertiser for these items is a biological male. It doesn't make any sense. And not even one with moobs. So it's not like he needs a sports bra. He has no flab. We've all seen Dylan Mulvaney. So yeah, those are the brands. Mulvaney told O'Donnell about trying to be the most uncontroversial person this past year, despite advertising for products specifically made for women, such as bras and tampons. The social media star didn't mention the controversies directly, but O'Donnell did. Beer companies have been supportive of the LGBTQIA community for decades. This is not the first time. Who do you think sponsors Pride? Gay people, trans people? We drink beer too, man. Put down your gun, Kid Rock. It's in bad taste, she said, referencing a video the rock star made of himself shooting at cases of Bud Light. We drink beer. Is Rosie O'Donnell saying, is she LGBTQ? I wasn't aware that she was. I try not to follow her. I don't like her. It is just a heavy time. It is a time to step up for sure, Mulvaney said, insisting the critics are of no concern. This was the first time Mulvaney addressed the controversy so directly. Last week, the influencer posted a video of the song No One Is Alone from Into the Woods. It is hard to see the light right now. Just don't let go. The song felt fitting for the week I've been having. Mulvaney wrote in the caption, thank you all for making me feel so supported. I am not alone. #trans. I'm going to play the clip because I like that song and I'm kind of annoyed. I like Into the Woods and I'm just like, Dylan, do you have to take everything? So we're going to play that clip real quick. I think I have it in here. Yes, I do. How do I make it work? I think I can play it from here. I have it pulled up in the list of articles I have in my Substack. So I'm going to turn myself down and I'm going to turn Dylan Mulvaney's volume up. I'm sorry. So here we are.
Whether you're a parent or you're a child or you're young or you're old or you're trans or you're not, we're all just trying our best here, aren't we?
That felt a little psychotic to me. And the fact that he keeps bringing up whether you're a child, his target audience is children, and it's really disturbing. It is genuinely disturbing. Let's play the next part.
And the most important thing is that we have the people in our lives to support us and celebrate our uniqueness. And that could be a mental health care professional or a teacher or a loved one, so long as we don't feel alone.
He seems unhinged. He seems very unhinged. I don't know. So I still am in the firm belief that this is all just an act. He definitely, he's done Broadway. He's done acting. His goal is to be the most famous he possibly can be. So I'm pretty sure, I think that the emotional hysterics are just an act. And now, let's listen to the song. Okay, I've just got to say that note was beautiful. The way that he hits that note is great. He has a Broadway voice. He has that kind of higher male Broadway voice. And when he uses his natural voice like that, it sounds amazing. And I would love to see him in some role on Broadway. Maybe not the most masculine role on Broadway, but I could see him playing a great character. But what bothers me is you'll hear it where he tries to go from his nice male voice into a female falsetto, and that's kind of where I'm just like, dude, you're butchering this. You sound so great, and then you have to try and layer that on top of it. So I'm gonna play it again so you can hear that.
Someone else is not. While we're seeing our side, maybe we forgot.
So that maybe we forgot line, that's the line that really bothers me because it sounds very good. I can close my eyes and forget that he's wearing a dress, and I can just picture a Broadway performance, right? And then I hear that maybe we forgot, he has to add in that little that little female tone to it. So let's listen to more of it because for some reason I want to break down and critique Dylan Mulvaney's singing.
They are not alone. No, no one is alone. It's hard to see the light now.
That line was pretty bad. He definitely had to add in the tears there, you know, turn on the waterworks, get the emotions flowing for the audience. Just like Anne Hathaway does when she sings I Dreamed a Dream in Les Mis, right? You got to get the tears flowing. You got to get that audience involvement. But that line he just did after it, kind of just like, oh. All right, so let's see what he has to sing next. We almost lost Dylan, ladies and gentlemen, but I have unfortunately brought him back.
Just don't let it go.
Just don't let it go.
Things will turn out right now. We can make it so.
Again, he has a fantastic voice, but for some weird reason, he has to try and like alter it to sound like a woman. And I also just realized that my hairstyle is very similar to his right now, and I'm just kind of like, nice move, Brie. Anyway, let's just finish out that video.
Someone is on your side. No one is alone.
I will say that I appreciate that ending note, because in the song from the movie, that last "no one is alone," I want to say James Corden obviously has his voice lower, and then you have Anna Kendrick, and she hits that high note. Thank you, Dylan, for not trying to hit that high note. That actually sounded very nice at the end there. Like I said, if he was not butchering himself, quite literally, between voice, actions, and appearance, I could close my eyes and say, oh, this is a Broadway performance with some flaws. But I just wish that he would stop doing this to himself, because he's clearly a very talented person, and he's clearly a very good actor, and he's putting it to work, but for the wrong reasons, and it's sad. So on that note, with Dylan Mulvaney and the Bud Light crap, let's see, which one do I want to do first? So apparently he doesn't want to be controversial. That's not, no. He wants fame. He wants fortune. He wants the controversy surrounding him, because look what it's getting him. He's getting these performances. He's getting these, I get to stand up here and cry to you because boo-hoo, woe is me. People don't like me, and I get to bank off of that. So we're going to go with on the Anheuser-Busch Bud Light saga. We're gonna start with this article. It's actually, it is from yesterday. All right, we'll go with it. Leaked pictures show Bud Light exec who wants to update company's fratty culture enjoying fratty party. I don't know that I'll read the whole article here, but just it's interesting to note that the woman who apparently greenlit this whole Dylan Mulvaney shebang, what's her name? Alyssa Harden. I can't say her last name. Alyssa Harnschnard was the Bud Light executive who claimed the beer company needs to update its fratty and out-of-touch image, appears to enjoy the Greek life at Harvard while partying at an alleged haven of inebriated ditzes. Budweiser's vice president of marketing, Alyssa Harnschnard, could be seen in images in her now-deleted Facebook page enjoying a campus scavenger hunt, blowing up family-friendly. I'm not going to say it, but I will highlight the word so that you can just see what that says. Like balloons and drowning beers in a 2006 booze fest. The Daily Caller obtained photos of the Bud Light executive. So, yeah, I'm not going to read the whole thing. It's a little dirtier than I would read in my show. So, this is her. This was from the video where she was saying that she wants to change things up and she wants to gear things toward a younger audience, which is... Okay, so you want to cater to kids? You're an alcohol company. Many on social media called out Harnschnard as a hypocrite for appearing to take part in the same fratty culture she claimed the beer company needed to do away with. This is too funny. Do as I say, not as I do, one Twitter user wrote. Looks awful fratty, another user remarked of the college pictures. In response to a photo where Harshide drinks Rolling Rock, one person quipped, "Even she doesn't drink Bud." Anheuser-Busch Light's Bud Light's parent company did not immediately respond to the post's request for comment. I'm gonna say, she that one? I think she's, oh, you can't see where I'm pointing. I think she's the one in the red scarf. Yep, they're blowing up the objects that I didn't read the word for. And there's her, enjoying frat culture. Harshide is currently facing backlash over the company's decision to partner with transgender activist Elon Mulvaney, who celebrated his 365 days of girlhood with custom-made Bud Light cans featuring the influencer's face. Prior to the launch of the partnership in an ad featuring Mulvaney in a bathtub, Harshide told the Make Yourself at Home podcast she wanted to transform Bud Light's brand. "I'm a businesswoman. I had a really clear job to do when I took over Bud Light, and it was, this brand is in decline. It has been in decline for a really long time, and if we do not attract young drinkers to come and drink this brand, there will be no future for Bud Light," Harshide said. There's more pictures, but we're not going to go through them because they'd get a little raunchy. Listen, you want to attract younger drinkers. What do you mean here? Do you want to attract the 21-year-old plus college kids who, yeah, admittedly, a lot of them are part of the LGBTQ community. I think I read that it was like at least 30% of young people that are in institutionalized education of some kind identify as LGBTQ. They identify within that community. So maybe you want to target them, the college kids who are a little bit younger. I'm above college age now. Wow. The college kids who are just fresh out of high school and are going into this, but no, I think you want to target the probably 16 to 20-year-olds is what I'd say. The ones that are sneaking the booze, the ones that are having these parties when they're not supposed to, the ones sneaking into these parties. That's the target audience, and that's evil. Like, that just shows that they want to mess with kids because they're using Dylan Mulvaney to pull in the younger audience that's on TikTok. Oh, Dylan Mulvaney drinks Bud Light. I guess that's cool, right? Because he's trans and he's cool, so I guess I should probably drink that too. Their bigger company base is a lot older than 21, right? A lot older than these college kids. So they've just alienated, and as we've seen, their main company base is not very happy with it, and their sales are plummeting. Although according to CNN, it's a good thing and it's actually doing good things for them. But everywhere else seems to acknowledge that they're plummeting. So I have another article pulled up about it that we're going to read real quick, also from New York Post, to see what it has to say. All right. I was trying to play a Joe Rogan video, so I'm going to pause that and we're going to hop over here. Top Bud Light execs were blindsided by Dylan Mulvaney ad campaign report. Bud Light's controversial marketing deal with transgender social media influencer Dylan Mulvaney has ignited speculation that top executives at a corporate parent, Anheuser-Busch, may have been blindsided by the tie-up when it was revealed. No one at senior level was aware this was happening, an unnamed source told Daily Wire, a conservative-leaning news site. Marketing executives at Bud's parent, Anheuser-Busch, InBev, have allegedly paused additional campaigns so they can implement a more robust vetting process for future projects, according to the report. The accuracy of the report, which comes despite the fact that Bud Light has publicly stood behind its partnership with Mulvaney, could not immediately be confirmed. The Post has sought comment from Anheuser-Busch, some low-level marketing staffer who helps manage the hundreds of influencer engagements they do must have thought it was no big deal, according to an unnamed source cited by the Daily Wire. Obviously it was, and it's a shame because they have a well-earned reputation for just being America's beer, not a political company. The source reportedly added it was a mistake. The Daily Wire also cited a tweet from conservative influencer Ronald O'Hanley, who claimed to have spoken to sources who said that the C-suite executives inside the company were angered over the marketing deal with Mulvaney. Alyssa Harshide, the vice president of marketing, told the Make Yourself at Home podcast she wanted to transform Bud Light's brand. "I'm a businesswoman. I had a really clear job when I took over Bud Light, and it was this brand is in decline. It's been in decline for a really long time. If we do not attract young drinkers to come and drink this brand, there'll be no future for Bud Light." She also condemned the company's previous branding, saying, "We had this hangover. I mean, Bud Light has been kind of a brand of fratty, kind of out-of-touch humor, and it was really important that we had another approach." Harshide's comments in partnership with Mulvaney have garnered backlash, with the company remaining quiet while many are protesting Anheuser-Busch products. Anheuser-Busch works with hundreds of influencers across their brands and have many ways to authentically connect with audiences across various demographics and passion points, a spokesperson for the company told Fox News. From time to time, we produce unique commemorative cans for fans and brand influencers like Dylan Mulvaney. This commemorative can was a gift to celebrate a personal milestone and is not for sale for the general public. Mulvaney, a TikTok star with more than 10 million followers, posted a video promoting the brand's March Madness contest, offering customers a chance to win $15,000. In the Instagram footage, the content creator is dressed like Audrey Hepburn's character in Breakfast at Tiffany's as he cracks open a Bud Light can and takes a sip. And we've watched that video on here, so I'm not going to go into that video again. And read just like the article finished out with like Dylan's little spiel or whatever. So yeah, it doesn't look like Anheuser-Busch is doing great. Publicly, it sounds like they have not said we made a mistake, but it sounds like there's some whistleblowers within the company that are saying we higher ups were not aware, like executives weren't aware of this. It was her. So it sounds like there's probably some kind of meltdown going on within the company. So that's interesting. Meanwhile, I literally opened up a CNN article yesterday that was like, no, that's all lies. Their stocks are going up. Nothing's plummeting. And then meanwhile, if you actually look at the stocks, it like does this. So yeah, a lot of people on Twitter are like, what are you conservatives talking about? Nothing's happening. And it's very obvious that they are suffering from this. And I say, let them suffer. So I think what am I going to go to next? So we did the Dylan Mulvaney stuff. We got that out of the way. Sorry to bring him up again. So now I think we're going to head over to NPR. Oh, that's actually Dylan Mulvaney. We're going to go to a Yahoo News article about NPR quitting Twitter after being labeled as state-affiliated media by the website. NPR has been one of the first media organizations to voluntarily leave Twitter after falsely being labeled state-affiliated media last week. I don't think that that's false information. NPR, right? They're definitely government run. They're a public network that is funded by the government. They're funded by other things too, but they are definitely state funded. The public radio outlet paused tweeting last week after the label was affixed to its accounts. NPR's organization accounts will no longer be active on Twitter because the platform is taking actions that undermine our credibility by implying that we are not editorially independent, it said in a statement. We are not putting our journalism on platforms that have demonstrated interest in undermining our credibility and the public's understanding of our editorial independence. We are turning away from Twitter, but not from our audiences and communities. There are plenty of ways to stay connected and keep up with NPR's news, music, and cultural content. Don't tell me that you are not under the influence of the government and that you are independent journalism, because you are not. NPR had 52 Twitter accounts. Wow. For its various programs and channels, its main account has 8.8 million followers. The privately owned nonprofit receives less than 1% of its annual budget from the federally funded Corporation for Public Broadcasting. PBS and the BBC were given the same label. Even if that's true, even if less than 1% of its annual budget comes from the federally funded Corporation for Public Broadcasting, they are still government funded. They just said that, right? I hate how they spin things where they're like, oh, well, even though they technically are, it's only like this much, so they're not. I hate how articles do that. I don't know why I chose a Yahoo News article. I just clicked on it and started looking at it and figured I'd just go with it. It gives me more commentary to bash, I guess. The downside, whatever the downside, doesn't change the fact. CEO John Lansing said in an interview, I would never have our content go anywhere that would risk our credibility. Despite Musk backtracking and Twitter changing the label from government-funded media, Lansing said the company wouldn't return even if the labels were dropped entirely. At this point, I've lost my faith in the decision-making at Twitter. He said, I would need some understanding whether Twitter can be trusted again. Lansing said NPR staff would be free to continue using their personal Twitter accounts if they wished. I love the first comment here is some guy named Mike 22 hours ago goes, the label is accurate. Everybody knows. Everybody knows that they are state-funded media. I'm going to see if I can find what's that woman's name? So we had thought about this after. Sorry. So you have Corinne Jean-Pierre has decided to, I can't find the video, but she defended NPR and said, no, they're not state-run. We don't have any influence on them. They're independent journalism. And then you had somebody else that was like, I don't remember where they were from, but they were also a government employee of some kind or just affiliated with government that was like, no, we're not, no, we have nothing to do with them. So believe us, because we've never steered you wrong. So it's almost like that thing where it's like, if you investigate yourself, you find nothing wrong. So I found that funny. Elon Musk taking over Twitter has really weeded out of the woodwork the most entitled and whiny people that you will ever come across. All these celebrities, right, that are like, I'm not going to pay $11 for a blue check mark. And it's like, okay, well, they got to fund it somehow, right? Because a lot of people hate Elon Musk. They pulled their ads. He's got to fund the platform somehow. $11 might be a little steep, but Mark Zuckerberg, right, was, I believe, one of the ones who was complaining about that and being like, how rude. How dare you charge $11 for verification on Twitter? How dare you do that? And then, I mean, Instagram verification. I just got a notification the other day that I was eligible for Instagram verification. So I was like, okay, I'll see what that entails. It is $15 a month. So Mark Zuckerberg out there complaining that, oh, it's such a steep price, you know, Facebook and we're so much better. And then you go in quietly, slap on a Twitter verification expense to your social media company as well, and make it more expensive than the one that you're complaining about in the first place. What? So yeah, that just annoyed me because it's just so, I remember like it was like a quiet little announcement that got shoved under the rug that Facebook and Instagram verification would now be like X amount of money a month. And I was like, that used to be free. Why are they doing that? So yeah, I want to say there was one more thing I was going to go into. We've talked, let's talk about Joe Biden. So I'm going to show you this tweet here. Mr. Prime Minister, it's great to see you again. I'm glad to be here and mark the 25th anniversary of the Belfast Good Friday Agreement, which has brought peace and prosperity to Northern Ireland. I look forward to working together to unlock Northern Ireland's vast potential. So, April 12th. That was yesterday? Oh, okay. Well, Biden was just in Ireland. Biden travels to Ireland and UK to celebrate 25 years of peace and his family ties. Pause. Oh, this is going to be a fun one. It's an ABC News article. Even the casual observer have likely heard the president boasts of his heritage. President Joe Biden is heading across the pond for a long-awaited trip to Ireland, his ancestral homeland that will feature a heavy emphasis on family in addition to diplomacy. Biden's visit will be his first to Ireland as president and mark the only second time an Irish Catholic president has made a visit from the U.S. It also comes nearly 60 years after the first Irish Catholic president, John F. Kennedy, became the first sitting commander-in-chief to visit Ireland. The president left Washington on Tuesday for Belfast, Northern Ireland, the first stop of his 4-day, two-country trip, along with his son Hunter Biden and his sister Valerie Biden. Oh, that's great. He took the son with him. Sure, Hunter's having a lot of fun in Ireland right now. Well, actually, they're probably back by now, but still. Sorry to the Catholic community, by the way, that this is like your representation in the White House. You know, at least JFK was cognitive. There, Biden will mark the 25th anniversary of the Good Friday Agreement that brought an end to 30 years of sectarian violence on the island known as the Troubles. Biden said as he departed Tuesday, his top priority for the trip is to make sure Irish accords and the Winter Agreement stay in place, keep the peace, that's the main thing. President Biden cares very deeply about Northern Ireland and has a long history of supporting peace and prosperity. As a U.S. Senator, Joe Biden was an advocate for how the United States can play a consecutive role supporting peace, while the White House spokesperson John Kirby said Monday, previewing the trip. Biden's visit to Northern Ireland will also focus on the readiness of the United States to support Northern Ireland's vast economic potential to the benefit of all communities, according to the White House. The economic focus of Biden's visit is particularly notable as Ireland, a member of the European Union, and Northern Ireland, part of the UK, are still dealing with the fallout from Brexit when the UK left the EU. Earlier this year, a trade deal called the Windsor Framework was struck to prevent a strict land border from being reinstated on the island and to address some of the outstanding trade concerns remaining from Brexit. A so-called hard border between Ireland and Northern Ireland, some feared, could undermine the 1998 peace agreement and see tensions reignited mostly between Protestant Unionists and Catholic nationalists in Northern Ireland. Biden previously praised Windsor's deal as an essential step to ensuring the hard-earned peace and progress of the Belfast Good Friday Agreement is preserved and strengthened. After lowering terrorism level threat to substantial last year, Northern Ireland has recently raised it back to severe, meaning an attack is highly likely based off an M15 intelligence assessment. MI5. That makes more sense, right? But Kirby on Monday downplayed any concerns about security when asked about Biden's travel. We don't ever talk about security requirements of protecting the president, but the president is more than comfortable making this trip and he's very excited to do it, Kirby said. Just for a second, just look how beautiful that is. It just looks like, so idyllic. Following his time in the UK, Biden will head to the Republic of Ireland later this week, where he will meet with President Michael D. Higgins, and I don't like pronouncing Irish names. Tosh, I don't know. Leo Varadkar, as well as address joint session of the Irish legislature. Today, 1 in 10 Americans claim Irish ancestry, and Irish Americans are proudly represented in every facet of American life. Ireland is a key economic partner of the United States, and the United States and Ireland are working closely together to make the global economy more fair, Kirby said in his preview of the trip. He also signaled out Ireland's contributions to Ukraine amid Russia's invasion. Ugh. The Irish government has been strong supporters of Ukraine, providing vital non-lethal assistance, including medical supplies, body armor, and support of Ukraine's electrical grid, as well as their agriculture, he said. They have supported EU sanctions on Russia, and the people of Ireland have generously welcomed nearly 80,000 Ukrainians, offering refuge to those who are forced to flee their homes in search of safety. But perhaps the biggest focus of Biden's trip will be the tracing of his connections back to Ireland, mainly through two families on his mother's side, the Finnegans and the Blewitts. So he's lost and he wants to find his family? Is this like a heartwarming Hallmark drama that takes place in Ireland? I'm so confused. Biden is expected to meet with relatives and visit places of significance. Man, I sound like Biden today. To the Finnegans of County Louth and the Blewitts of County Mayo, according to a White House official. And County Louth on Wednesday afternoon, Biden visited Carlingford Castle. On Friday in County Mayo, he'll visit Our Lady of Knock and the North Mayo Heritage and Genealogical Center's Family Research Unit. He returns to Washington on Saturday. He is also expected to deliver remarks near St. Murdoch's Cathedral in County Mayo that celebrate the deep historic ties that link our countries and people, White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said in a statement announcing the trip. The cathedral has deep ties to Biden's family. Some relatives were baptized there, and his great-grandfather, Edward Blewitt, sold 27,000 bricks to the cathedral that were used in its construction, which ultimately helped fund the family's voyage to America. Even the most casual observer of the president have likely heard him boast of his Irish heritage. In all of his remarks, he will often quote members of his Irish family or some of his Irish poems and literature, like Seamus Heaney's The Cure at Troy. My colleagues in the United States Senate used to kid me because I was always quoting Irish poets on the floor. They thought I did it because I was Irish. That's not the reason. I did it because they're the best poets in the world, Biden has joked. In the past, he has spoken about his Irish roots as part of his own soul and how he was raised. The focus of his political pitch of dignity for all Americans is also based on his heritage. It gets back to a word that's overused in my house, as my grandfather would say. Maybe it's the Irish of it, the word dignity, the simple dignity, Biden said, and many of his policies focused on trying to improve the middle class. During his time in Ireland, Biden will discuss how a fierce pride in being Irish and in a value system that allows everyone entitled to be treated with dignity and respect have been passed down to each generation, the White House official said of the trip. He also discussed how the Irish-American story of ensuring difficult times but marching forward towards a better tomorrow speaks to our shared past, present, and future, the official added. Okay. So why is it that Biden can go gallivant off to Ireland and Biden can go gallivant off to Ukraine, especially Ukraine, and he can't seem to go visit Palestine, Ohio, or give them any more than that's under control. Just shut up. Don't talk about it. Why can't Karine Jean-Pierre? She didn't go to Palestine, Ohio. She went to freaking Tennessee, and she didn't even attend the funerals of some of the children and people that were murdered in the school shooting. They don't care. Why is he in Ireland? Why does he care about this? He's not even going to go to Prince Charles' coronation. He's like one of the only world leaders that's not going to be there. And I think they're taking it across the pond as kind of a snub. Meghan Markle also is not going to be attending the coronation either. I guess Harry is, but Meghan is not. So I guess in my how relevant is Joe Biden, I guess I would chalk him right up next to Meghan Markle at this point. So I just thought it was odd that he's so willing to go to, we were told by, you know, his handlers that he wasn't going to be going to Britain for the coronation because it affects how he can run the country. He needs to be here. His health is the top priority. He's an older gentleman. And yet they're like, all right, ship him off to Ukraine secretly. Shh. All right, let's have him go to Ireland. That'll be fun. I don't know. I just don't think that, like, not that I think he needs to go to the coronation. There was another article that tried to make a point about how, like, well, no presidents, only like 1 or 2 have ever gone to a royal coronation, or like none at all, or what. And it was like, yeah, you know why? Because as the generations have gone on, how many kings and queens has England had since America became a country? Not that many. Victoria ruled for like, what, 60 years? And then Queen Elizabeth ruled from when she was in her, like, what, in her 20s to her 90s, right? So it's like, we've only had a few monarch transitions. And when we were having more monarch transitions, it was a lot harder to travel. The president of the United States couldn't just hop a ship, head over across the pond, go watch the coronation and come back. He needed to be here because travel took so long back then that there was no way that he could do that effectively and also run the country. Now it's like, hop in a plane. Takes about a day, you're there. Hop back in the plane, you're back over here. So I don't think there's any reason why Joe Biden could not attend this. I'm not saying he needs to, but I just think it's kind of like, it does feel like a snub. I wonder how they feel about it. He is planning on visiting at some point anyway, he said, after the coronation, but he's just not going to go to the coronation. So that's fine, whatever. He went to Elizabeth's funeral. I guess that's enough. I don't really respect Charles either. So, but I don't even know if it's a respect versus disrespect thing on Biden's part. I don't know anymore what's going on with all of that. So it has been 37 minutes and I don't know. I don't think I'm going to go into the Greg Abbott article today. I think I'm going to leave it here. Yeah, I think this was a good time run. So if anyone would like to follow along, again, I can be found at fearmeitsbre on Instagram and Twitter. There is a Twitter space saved last night that I actually did with Josie, the redheaded libertarian. I want to say I have it bookmarked, but like, if anyone wants to go tune into that, if you missed that as well, you can go listen to that on Twitter. It should be in my feed somewhere. And you can like this video, you can share this video, or you can just move on from this video because I know I'm a hard pill. So I hope everyone has a great afternoon. I'm not planning on being back on again. Tomorrow is actually my husband and I's wedding anniversary. So we have a lot of stuff going on tomorrow. We're planning on doing something for it on Saturday, and then Sunday, and then Monday, the week starts all over again. So it's going to be a pretty busy weekend for us. So I'm not intending on getting on here. I don't think that I will need to. I say that and something's going to blow up tonight and I'll be like, oh, okay, I guess we're back. So I don't think I'll be on tomorrow. I may or may not be, but I will try and jump back on again on Monday. So I hope everyone has a great afternoon. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will see everybody on Monday.